They're a thing of beauty, but they're also a tool. My wife took a job in Japan, and I needed a new hobby. Being I was working with rocks a whole bunch, I started looking at doing some flint knapping. I use obsidian, which is volcanic glass. It's got different colors in it depending upon what was in the sand. If it had iron in it, it's red. If it's got copper in it, it's green. Some of it is quite clear, almost like glass. Some of it's so black you can't see through it. I slab it into 3/8 thick slab and then cut it down a little bit more so I can draw out a knife pattern on it. And then I grind it into the knife pattern. The blade would have a lens type shape to it, so it's thicker in the middle and skinnier on the edges. Once you get to that point, then you switch to a stick with a copper point on it and press down on the top edge of this thing and snap off a flute of obsidian. It's a lot of fun. My old dentist, Phil Hagen, he is extremely well known in the knife making business. I was showing him the pieces that I was doing, and he told me to come over to his shop one day, and he showed me around, and he told me to come over anytime I want and start working with metal. And 17 years later, I just bought out all his equipment and moved it into my shop, and here I am. There's lots of different kinds of steel. You can't use mild steel. You got to use like a spring steel or good grade of stainless steel. You cut out a pattern and you semi-grind it out. Take away the big stuff so that you're not grinding on the hard metal a whole bunch. Then you have to heat treat it to get the temper in it so that it remains a hard knife and will hold a decent edge on it. My forge was built by my mentor. It's a barrel 3/16 steel with insulation, 1 inch thick. It's propane operated. It goes from whatever the ambient temperature of the room is up to 2,000 degrees in less than 5 minutes. After you heat treat it and you finish grinding it, put a handle on it, buff it out, and sharpen it. I make what they call fixed blade knives, like your kitchen knives, hunting knives, folding knives. Slip joints are pretty technical. I've made an automatic knife. Every knife I've built has pretty much been a one-of-a-kind type knife. I make some pieces that wind up to be mantle pieces. They buy them as an art piece, not as a useful piece. I really like making the stuff that somebody's going to use or carry. Hunting knife, kitchen knives. It's a nice looking piece, but it was also something that should be used. It is a big part of the process to figure out what size handle you need on what size knife and for whom it is going to. I usually shake their hand to see how big their hand is, because if I make any type of knife and it doesn't fit them, it's a bad fit. You have to have a balance in it as far as the size of the handle compared to the size of the guy compared to the size of the knife. You can't make a Bowie knife with a 3-inch handle on it. A Bowie knife is like 10 inches long. Women's hands are much smaller for the most part than what a man's hand is. So the handle has to be smaller, round. It needs to be a little shorter, even if the knife blade is the same size. There's all kinds of wild and crazy things out there that you can use for knife handles. Antler, horn, stone, rock, certain types of plastic, mammoth tooth, mammoth ivory, quite exotic bone from giraffes, camel, whale. I like the wood. It goes back to my woodworking background. Being we were in the logging business and sawmilling business, we had lots of lumber to work with, so I really like the different types of woods. They're very unique. I like going out and finding the things that I use. To me, that's all part of it. The more that I can do for making my knives, the better the process is for me. I made a knife for my dad out of chainsaw chain, and It's got a red oak burl handle on it, and it's off of the last logging job that he did, and my brother and I did with him. The chainsaw chain is out of that, and the burl's off of that last logging job. On special knives like that, it means more to me. I have more of myself into it. The reward isn't in the paycheck, it's in how they like it and what they're going to do with it. I'm hoping to retire and stand out here and make knives. That's my long-term goal, is just to have the enjoyment of making knives. I would really like to pass that on to somebody, like my mentor did for me. I wouldn't be doing this if he wouldn't have saw something in me that said I could do this. This is my sanctuary. I spend a lot of time out here, evenings, weekends. When construction is down, I'll come out here and work all day, 10, 12 hours a day. I get lost in it. I'm proud of what I do. I like the challenge of it. It makes me feel pleased. I'll put it that way. I'm pleased with what I do.
Funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4, 2008. And by the members of Prairie Public.